Global here. We are finally back live. Let me just knock this off. It's a little bit it's like a little heater, and it's actually a little bit warmer than you think. And when you get like, because I'm sat on the floor for this one, which I'll explain in a minute. And I sort of sat more down to its level, to where it's like purely, blowing the heat out. So it was kind of like coming right on the side of my face, where you can clearly tell that I need to get in that bathroom and oh, pardon, and get the razor on it. Most definitely. If you watched the last stream, which I think was either Thursday or Friday, I was ill. I was ill. I announced a gig. I briefly announced a gig, but I was ill. And I announced it just because I was excited and I wanted to announce it. But I was kind of ill, and I was really ill, and I wasn't really up to doing the stream. I just sort of did it more for the sake of getting it done, to announce the gig. But for anybody who doesn't know, I got booked for the next Bounce to Your Drop, which is on the 7th of April. It's like 2 days before I'm due to fly out to Amsterdam. It was like a little quick sort of like stop in Hull, in Scunthorpe, sorry, like a real sort of quick little like local gig. And the people that know me, and have followed this channel, especially over the past sort of sort of 2 years. You'll know that I've got a lot of time for Bounce to Your Drop, and they gave me their first booking, on their launch night. I was the first set of their launch night, so I was like the crazy to think, but I was like the first ever DJ that graced the decks at their event. And they've given me such a wild and crazy experience, because before I sort of started, or before I got the booking with Bounce to Your Drop, don't get me wrong. I was getting some absolutely amazing bookings, and at the time it was just so good to be getting out there and playing in these nightclubs, and playing in this environment of having a crowd there, and just that general sort of step up from being stood in at home in the bedroom. So that was amazing in itself. But then for me in 2021, Bounce to Your Drop came along, and it was like it kind of gave me that little bit of a leg up, and it was a little bit like it opened my eyes to like a little bit more of a bigger night, a little bit more of a bigger nightclub, and sort of like bigger variety, and it was just crazy to be on a lineup with like legends, sort of like Club Filler, John Neal, Charlie Bosch, people that have obviously smashed it for years. And then to go into that club and be on that sort of like big stage, and for my set on, the whole vibe and the event just got absolutely rammed. And I just remember just sort of like being on this stage and just looking forward into like an endless amount of crowd, and I just thought, for me, this was like the next step up. It was like looking at something and thinking, I feel like I'm in a dream right now. And then they went on to give me some more amazing bookings and events with them. So when they said, did I want to come back on the Good Friday, as probably, if they'd have said it, if it was either the week before or the following week, you know, unless I genuinely physically couldn't make it, I've always got time for them. And I like to go and support the brand, because I feel like, again, I've been there since day one. I've kind of feel like I've sort of seen sort of like the birth of it, and I played a part in it most definitely. And I feel like I just enjoy the whole vibe. I get on with the people that in the nightclub, get on with the people, Ben and Terry that run the event. So, but yeah, I was a little bit ill when I made the announcement. So I probably, didn't say, I can't remember what I said or didn't say. I just know that I felt a tiny bit better, so I thought, get the stream done. And to be fair, I was probably still too ill to stream, and I just shouldn't have done it. So it was just one of them. So, but that's absolutely crazy. So let's lead on to the weekend. What has happened with me over the weekend? Well, absolutely nothing. Believe it or not, I've had a weekend at home, not going anywhere, no events, no visiting the grandparents. I actually felt ill. I've been ill over the weekend. I actually didn't even want to go raving. Like, I didn't batter an eyelid once on Saturday when there was the option. The layman was going to a Bounce Elements bingo thing, and he was telling me, I'm setting off shortly, and then he sort of sent me a few texts while he was there, and I just sort of, normally I'd be a bit like, oh, I wish I was there. And nothing against the event or anything. I just genuinely did not feel like I could have gone. Like, I just did not feel well enough. I think about a week ago, I got a text from somebody from Driffield, and they wanted a wedding DJ like the weekend just gone, and I told him that I'd go home and check the diary and just make sure. Blah blah blah. And anyway, I was free last weekend, and then I fell ill. And you fall ill, and then before you know it, like another day or so's gone by, and then I get a phone call from my dad, and he's like, this guy wants a DJ at the weekend, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know, blah, but like I'm just a little bit unwell, and bless the people, because I think they was really struggling to get someone, because even the missus even text me and said. Look, we really do need a DJ, and I just explained. I said, look, I'm unwell, and they even tried like trying to offer me and bump me more money. There was like, we'll even pay you more. We need somebody, and normally, like, I would have done it. I mean, I'm not remotely keen on doing like parties and weddings. I mean, I did them last year, and yeah, I enjoyed them, but at the time it was a bit of a helping hand when I didn't have a job. When I was kind of just doling and trying to build up the music myself, I thought, well, maybe if I do a few like parties and weddings, it would obviously, it just help a little bit. And then what I was gonna say is my equipment, like my mixer and my CDJs, are just not completely up to scratch. And they've got little issues and faults with them. Like, you can be halfway through queuing up a track, and then it'll just completely switch to like from USB mode, like to MIDI mode, like as if you were connecting it to a computer, and then sometimes like you just press Q and it doesn't actually tap or work. So there's like a few little things that have gone wrong with it, and I think it's just a little bit of dodgy electrics from probably when a drink got spilt on it. And the mixer, the channels crackle, the channels fade. And I just thought, when you do these kind of like discos and weddings and like birthday parties and all the rest of it and all the whatnot, you're kind of, responsible yourself. There's a lot, you're not just turning up to somebody's club and plugging in your USB stick. When you're doing like a mobile party, it's but believe it or not, it's a hell of a lot different to say turning up to the warehouse and playing your set. Even though the warehouse is still a big thing and nerve-wracking, with like a party, there's just so much more to it, and it's a little bit more stressful because you can be told like via a text message like yeah that you know we want 80s, 90s, noughties, all the dance hits, all the big well-known commercial hits, and then you could get there and then you've got people that are wanting like, you know, can you drop some heavy metal stuff in, and then you don't actually have heavy metal, and because I'm not one of these mobile DJs that have like the latest and greatest equipment where you can just like go onto Spotify and search up anyone's track that they want. You know, it just becomes a lot more stressful, and there's a lot more like, can you do this? Can you do that? Whereas, you know, if you say like when I get booked for Bounce to Your Drop, it's just put a set together, a bounce set, turn up and play it. It's not halfway through like, you know, can you play a bit of Celine Dion? You know, so you know, it's a real tough and stressful thing, and I've taken a couple of them on this year. I think about two, and I think once they've run its course, like once they've been and happened, I think I'm just gonna essentially just call it a day with that. And then in the future, you know, once I get some like better equipment, if I feel like I'm in a position where I want to start them again, then I'll probably will start them. But I suppose like doing them just for like a friend or like a family relative, it's kind of like a different thing. You know, that's a little bit different, because they, you know, they're not like all the time. But if I started advertising and taking them, and then, you know, boom, the mixer goes bang or something, just not really my kind of, you know, situation that I want to be in. And plus I actually had to pull out of one once, you know, due to a family reason, and trying to tell the person I was pulling out was just, you know, I got into a horrible little argument with the woman, that I didn't want to get involved in, and I was trying to keep it as peaceful as possible, because I thought at the end of the day she can go spouting stuff on Facebook, and she can go saying I'm this and that if I start losing me ragged and effing and blinding. So I had to try and keep it cool. Like you know, I just couldn't help it. I couldn't pull out. Like I just couldn't pull out without getting a little bit annoyed. But I was trying to explain it in like the best way I could, and I was offering to find another DJ, and she's like, I'm gonna plaster you all over Facebook. You've left me daughter with no, you know, with like no DJ for a party, and there's a matter of like 4 days. And I was like, look, you know, I can't, you know. I get what you're saying. I drastically feel sorry for you. I wish I didn't have to pull out, but you know, it was one of them things. And at the time, I couldn't do it. You know, I just had some stuff going on, and I just couldn't do it. And really did get angry about it. And it was kind of then where I thought, do you know what? You know what I'm saying? So what can I say? It was just one of them situations, that I sadly didn't want to be in. Um, but yeah, so I even turned that down last weekend because I was ill. So that's when you really know I'm ill, because normally like I'd be ill in the week, and I'd like really try and want to make a recovery for the weekend so I could do something. Um, which I'm hoping that is the plan for this weekend. Supposed to be going to an event with the layman actually. Nice big bounce night. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping I'm going to be well enough. It's like Tuesday now. Well, nearly Wednesday. It's like Tuesday night now, isn't it? So I'm just hoping that I do get a little bit better, and stuff like that, which is like, you know, a good thing in itself, that hopefully I'm well. A lot, like I do feel like I'm improving. It's just this cough. You know, the cough is just absolutely doing my head in. It's like I can't shift it. And obviously I've been taking like medicines, and I had this like little liquid bottled Lemsip, and it seemed to really help. My Layman, he actually brought it round for me, but sadly there was only a bit of it left. It was only like, some of what he'd been taking, and he said it had it's sort of like worked for him, but kind of giving him bellyache at the same time, so he didn't want to keep taking it. But he said I was welcome to try it, and I thought, you know what, I'll try it. And I tried it, and yeah, the taste isn't like the best taste on planet Earth. I ain't gonna lie, but what I was gonna say is it really did seem to do me some good. Like I remember taking it and just like sort of 20 minutes or so after having like a little cup of it, this little capsule cup. I remember like starting to feel better, like it was starting to work, and it was almost like the cough was easing off a little bit. It was the only thing that got rid of my headache, because I had like a pounding headache for solidly for probably about just over a day. And it actually, that was the only thing that got rid of it. But sadly, there wasn't much of it left, and then it ran out. And then I wanted to get some more, essentially. But I was just too unwell to go out, and sent someone out to get some stuff. But they actually ended up getting the Lemsips that you warm up and drink. And although, yeah, they probably work, they got like a horrible taste. I remember having, I think I've had two, or like one and a half, and I had one. The taste was horrible. The taste was just absolutely disgusting. And then the following day, I attempted to have another one with mixed with fizzy orange and not even warmed up. And although it tasted somewhat better than when it was like the normal warm drink, it almost kind of tasted like just a really bad fizzy orange juice. So it still wasn't too much better. So I'm on some other cough medicine at the moment, and I keep having some of it, and I just keep hoping. Like I feel sort of like a bit like sort of better in myself. Like I remember like last week, like I was aching and stuff, and I was like just like proper tired all the time, and just felt like I had no energy. Whereas like now I feel like I do want to get about and do things, and like I went to Music Lab with work yesterday, back in the work office tomorrow hopefully. It's just mainly for me at the moment, it's just this bad cough and runny nose. And every so often I'll just have a little bit of a coughing fit, or yeah, every now and again I'll sneeze and blow my nose. um you know my appetite is definitely not good. My appetite has gone. I think it's slowly coming back. Yesterday was the first time I really properly ate something like quite decent. Because Saturday we had sausage, chips, and gravy, and about maybe 15 minutes after eating that, and not even eating it all, I actually threw it, like I had a coughing fit, and then ended up like throwing the food back up, like being sick. So Sunday I didn't really eat too much, because I just didn't feel up to it still. Although I was compulsively cleaning and changing this room around, which I'll get onto, and then Monday. I actually got some chips and gravy from the chippy before Music Lab, and that was kind of like the first thing that I'd like properly eaten, that had properly settled and stayed in my stomach, apart from like a little bit of toast. So I had that, and then after Music Lab, I felt slightly peckish, which I thought was a good thing. So I had a little bit of toast, and then today I have had some tin spaghetti on toast, and that's it. Because I honestly haven't really felt like having too much on that score. So, but hopefully, like I say, hopefully we just keep improving, and hopefully we just keep, we keep moving and grooving and taking things to the next level of recovering and getting better. But only time will tell. That's all I'm gonna say. Is that only time will tell. But yeah. So what I did on Sunday was I actually changed all the room around. So I've actually cleaned all the setup up. I've moved everything around, and sadly, the green screen is no longer in use again at the moment, which is a little bit of a gutting thing. And I know a lot of people say like, like your lives aren't good without the green screen, and blah blah blah, and because it kind of gets rid of that image when you're using the green screen that you are having, you've got the decks in your bedroom kind of thing, and it sort of takes that like bedroom DJ image away from you. But the thing about it is, like from a room's perspective, it doesn't really give you much room in the room. And I was like forever sat on this office chair, and I was forever like knocking the RCA cables in the back of the mixer, and I was forever sort of like having to move the chair out the way when I wanted to go live. I could never get the like camera to be in the right place that I was happy. It was always like moving or tilting, or it was catching a bit of the wall, or it was looking grainy. It wasn't looking light enough. And it was always it was always doing my head in. And not only that, the room had just started to look like a bomb had hit it. It was starting to look a little bit messy, and it just got into that state where it was just one of those sort of like situations where I just got fed up of it, and I thought, you know what, I can't do this no more. I don't want to live like this, because I'm looking at the room and I'm thinking like, what can I do with it? And the fact that I didn't know what to do with it was stressing me out. It was like there was no room. I couldn't get the cameras how I wanted them. I'm probably not going to get the camera exactly at how I want it now, but at least this way it just looks a little bit more spacious in here. It looks a little bit more tidy and better, and it just gives off a little bit of a better feel in general. And we've got both the vinyl decks actually set up, and we've got the two CDJs. The only thing I've got to do at the moment is I've just got to swap one little wire around, which is just a plug from that turns the CDJs on, and plug that into the vinyl when I want to use it, because I've only got one power lead for one of the vinyls, and for some reason there was a power lead missing for the other one. So I just literally, when I'm having a vinyl mix, I just borrow one from the CDJ, and then when I go back to CDJ, like I did earlier, I just put the wire back. So I just unplug it out of the vinyl, and then just plug it into the CDJ, which is just literally next to it. So that's obviously that. And yeah, so that was a bit of a productive weekend. The second vinyl turntable was kind of like it was like a yesterday's afterthought. So when I woke up on Monday, I actually thought, I wish there was a way. How is there going to be a way that I can obviously put both my vinyl decks? And they don't, they won't all fit on this white cabinet. So I actually used the brown one. I've got a brown one, the same as this, but not as long. And I just literally put it next to it, and then just put the vinyl deck sort of on it, so they all sit on there now. And then there's just a little bit of a space where I've got like a box and stuff for now, but I think possibly in the future I'll be putting like a TV on there or something. Or who even knows? I mean, I do want a TV again at some point, as I will be making a live stream announcement about something very, very, very soon, I would imagine. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be quite different, going to be quite interesting, going to take a while, and it wasn't something I expected I was ever going to do again. But I guess things happen for a reason, and something keeps calling me back to it. So let's say round to it and see how it goes. So stuff like that. So I will be getting a telly at some point. I just don't know where and don't know when. It's not a massive issue at the moment. I'm kind of happy with the computer and stuff, but it would be nice, like sometimes, like when you're ill, like when if you could just lay in bed and you could just watch something, that kind of it would be like a cool thing. And that's kind of sometimes I'd say the only times I really do miss like having a TV in my room. It's just like times when you're ill, because it's not often I'm ill. And when I'm not ill, I'm always like either putting a set together or having a mix or out with a layman or out at work or out at an event. I'm not a big chill out kind of person. I don't really, but I just find it boring. Like, I just don't like chilling out. Nothing against like people that chill out. But for me, I just can't seem to do it. I just seem to be one of them people that I always like to be doing, like sat at the computer or something. I'm never one of these like flick through the telly and see if there's a good film on it. Just I don't know, like sometimes like if I end up like just happening to walk downstairs and there's something on, sometimes it will just catch my eye and I'll end up like maybe like watching the rest of it or watching a good a good chunk of it, like just to sort of see what it's about. But I never really like go down with the intention of thinking I'm going to sit there and see what films are on. And again, it's nothing against anybody. I just for some reason it just sitting down and chilling out and resting. It just I don't know. It just for me it just doesn't feel right. It just feels like like I sit there and I think, you know what, I've got a gig coming up. Is the set all right for it? Like I'm gonna be live at 9:30. Is everything all plugged in and working and set up? I'm always thinking of the next thing, and that's the thing with me. Always thinking of the next thing. So speaking of the next thing, my next gig is a week on Saturday, and it's Chris Pursuit and Dave Fallow's birthday bash. I still don't know what's happening with that yet. I don't know like what the set time is. I don't know what time I'm playing. I don't know like if I'm in the second room or the first room. I would imagine. I mean, there is like just over a week to go. So I would imagine that we'll be finding out like any time. But at the moment, all I am aware of is that I'm doing the booking, MCing and DJing. I would imagine MCing more than likely be like the main room, and then like MCing, sorry, will probably more than likely be the main room, unless they are like setting mics up downstairs. But I think I know they don't really go to overkill with MCs in the downstairs room, so I don't really fully know what's going on, as far as that one goes. But I definitely feel that that downstairs room just needs a little bit of something to it, just to bring a little bit more of attention to it, because sometimes I get the vibe, and this is nothing against the room or the event, but sometimes I get the vibe that people are only just having a nosy as they're sort of passing to the toilet, really. And it's a little bit of a shame, because there's good people that play down there, and I mean, I played down there a few times myself, and that's not me just bigging myself up, but like there was at the last one there was a D&B room. It was a D&B room, and there was some wicked D&B beats going off, but there just wasn't really anything to it. Like, no one was really in there. It was everyone was really upstairs. People come in, and their first thing is they go upstairs unless they need the loo. And I just think, we need to have a little something, I think. Um, I think personally, a little something that just attracts, or maybe like, to people to actually sort of like see what's going on, sort of like in that second room. But who knows? So I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'll let you know. I'll be excited and buzzed to do whatever it is. But like I say, just in case anybody's like, yeah, I might come and see you, or anybody that just genuinely is interested or wants to know for the channel. I will be doing that set time. When I get to know it. So yeah, so that's the next gig for me. And I suppose what I'll go on to say next, I think I put it in the title, is a little bit what I wanted to move on to is actually a little bit why I actually stopped drinking. Because you're probably thinking like, to young lad, life ahead of him, party animal. Why did he give up the drink? Why did he stop the drink? And I know what a lot of people are thinking, and I know what a lot of people will say. Like, and people will say he's only stopped drinking because of Lehman, and I want to stop you there, because I want to say that you are 100% totally wrong. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. The Lehman doesn't drink, and I've kind of seen sort of like what it's like from kind of like from Lehman's point of view, like to not drink. And yeah, he's kind of like told me sort of like why he doesn't drink, and that has kind of like sort of helped me with my decision not to drink. But he hasn't said like he hasn't told me like specifically like, oh, don't drink, or like like, oh, you've got to stop drinking. Like he never said that once. So the giving up drinking was thoughts of my own. Was thoughts of my own. So first off, I suppose we'll date back. We'll date back, and we'll just go through the whole relationship with me and drinking. So drinking, I've never really loved it. I'll be completely honest. I've never really loved it. When I was really young, I can't remember how young, I used to want to have like a beer with my mum and dad. Kind of just like wanted to have one kind of thing, because I wanted to look adult, wanted to look cool, wanted to have one because they was having one. So they used to be able to get these real like little bottles of shandies. It was almost kind of like a stubby, in like a stubby bottle, but it was like a little shandy. And every now and again they'd let me have like half a bottle of Stella or something, like just one of them normal bottle, like Budweiser size bottles. And I just have it because I wanted to to feel sort of like adultish. And like, yeah, look at me, I'm having a drink with the big people. And then when I was about 11, without going into too much detail, I had a bad experience with alcohol, where I actually drank too much, and ended up in hospital, which that put me off drinking upon itself, as not really a bad, not really a good thing. And then when I got to like sort of like 14, I'd say like more like 15, 16 years of age, like a lot of my friends from school, they were like going to house parties and having a few drinks themselves, and just essentially they were just getting on like the beers and getting on the crates. And at the time I thought, you know, to sort of fit in and join in. This is what I've got to do. You know, this is the next thing that I have to do. And I was never really keen on it. I just thought, you know what? Everyone else is doing it. I don't want to sit there and be the odd one out, and everyone think, oh, he's a baby. He's not allowed to drink. That kind of thing. So just bear with me a second. Just having to blow my nose. I did that. Never really enjoyed it, and then obviously got to the point where you're old enough to go to the pub now. You're 18, and at the time, all my mates legally allowed to go to the pub, so they're going to have a pint. So I thought, look, this is like what I need to do. If I'm gonna fit in, I've got to be like the lad. And then I was always, if I was gonna drink, I always kind of preferred the spirits. And then I thought, but it's normally like posh people and gay people that drink spirits. And I thought, like, oh, the lads, they have a pint. So if I want to be like the lads, if I want to fit in, I've got to sit there and have a pint. And it always used to take me ages to drink them. I'd sit there for a good sort of like, we'd all say 4 of us would get a pint in, and they'd all 3 of them would drink their pints, and they'd be halfway through the next one, and I'd be like still finishing the first one. So I never really enjoyed it. And then I suppose it got to like the raving and stuff, and then I saw everyone like going for it in raves, and I thought, well, I don't take drugs. So I thought, what's the nearest sort of like best thing that I can do to that? And that was just to like go crazy on shots and things, and blah blah blah. And then again, I met like these other friends that were, when we was doing the radio streams, and when we was having the house parties and getting a mix on, and they was all having a drink. And again, I thought, this is, I've got to fit in. I want to be like these. I want to get in the mood and enjoy the vibe with everyone. When deep down, I didn't really need to do that. And then obviously, it just got to the point where I just thought, this is stupid. I don't need to try and be like other people. I've just got to try and be myself. I just want to be myself. I just want to live my normal and happy life, and not think, well, these people do it, so I need to do it. Because at the end of the day, I don't need to do it. If I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it. And now I've sort of like come to sort of like, I want to live this life where, like, if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. People can like beg me to do something. If I don't want to do it, I won't do it, full stop. That is kind of it. Like, if I don't want to eat something that I don't like, I won't eat it. And you won't make me eat. If I don't want to try a drink that I don't want to try, I ain't gonna do it. You can go, just try, just one mouthful. If I don't want to do it, boom. But no, it got to the point where I was missing sets. I was getting booked for sets and then missing them because I was getting too drunk. And I just thought, it's not me. I'm not portraying myself a good image. I'm not giving myself a good image. And people could just say like, well, why didn't you just cut down on the drinking? And I did. At first, I did cut down on the drinking, but do you know, like how hard it is to kind of like, just say, oh, I'll only have 2 Jaeger bombs tonight, because it's so hard not to, it's so hard to say like, you'll only have 2 Jaeger bombs and only have 2 Jaeger bombs. One of them crazy ass things. So in the end, I just thought, I said, oh, yeah, well, I did. I spoke to the layman about it. I did say like, do you know what I mean? I just said, look, why did you stop drinking? How did you feel about stopping drinking? What made you stop drinking? And he just explained why he did it. All about vibrations and like vibrating on different frequencies and stuff, which I ain't gonna go into it all. But since I've like cut the drinking out and cut certain things out and stopped certain things, like better things have happened for me in my life, like like I believe getting the job, because I'm not wasting the I wasn't wasting my dough money on like just getting wrecked and going to the next session. It was it was more about sort of like using the money for like more like better things, like getting something to eat instead, rather than like being in a rave and thinking I could leave the rave and get like something to eat, or I could get another round of Jaeger bombs in and spend that last tenner and get absolutely and then make a fool of myself. And plus, the way I was acting, the way I was talking to people, diving through windows, knocking things over, knocking people over, not knocking people's drinks over, just the whole shandle of it was just not a good vibe for me. So I just thought, if I really want to push this music to the best of my abilities, if I want to be the best I can, and I'm just going to do it drink free. And now I go to these raves and I capture the nights, I capture every sets, and I remember how good the sets are, and I remember who I've spoke to, I remember seeing people. I remember leaving, I remember, pretty much most of the night, which is like a good thing, rather than the next day someone saying like, oh, do you not remember jumping off the outdoor seating? No way did I do that. That ain't happening. Because I'm just there with a chilled out good vibe, and I'm just there supporting the brand, supporting the sounds, and I just do it all through having a glass of Coke, or a soft drink essentially. Sometimes I'll just have a soft drink in the car. I'll get like a big bottle, and sometimes like if I'm not too bad, I won't get a drink at all, and I'll just go and have a drink at the car when we're leaving the event. So that was why I stopped, because I thought, at the end of the day, I didn't really originally enjoy doing it. I was doing it more just to fit in, because I thought, well, when you get to that age, where you become old enough, you do your work and then you go to the pub, and and it was like the in thing. Everyone else was going out, and I thought, well, if I don't go out, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit there and I'm going to look boring. But I was making myself not sit there and look boring, and not essentially be, not being bored, because, I did enjoy it, but it just wasn't really me. It was like I wasn't being true to myself. It was like I was portraying a character, and the character was a really fun character to portray, but it wasn't me. And now I feel like I'm being me, if that makes sense. And everything's about the music. Someone's set, how good the tunes were, how good the mixing was. And sometimes I'm not even dancing, and I'm just watching somebody on the decks, which is a really good thing. I'm sat sometimes in green rooms chilling out, and I'm just having a general good night. I'm not getting wrecked, I'm not making a show of myself, I'm not making a fool of myself, and it just works better in general. So if anybody, obviously I don't advise that people should stop drinking. Each to their own, and everybody's different. But if you have sort of ever considered it, like maybe I should give it up, or maybe it is like just costing too much, and there isn't really much to it, is there? But by all means, then I would say, like, give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. And the only thing, and for me, is I didn't go, plastering it all over Facebook. I don't go there and 2 weeks without a drink, 3 weeks without a drink, or I've not touched alcohol for a month. or I've done the dry January. You know, I didn't really say anything about stopping drinking to really anybody. I just kind of did it. I suppose the only person that really knew about it was the layman, as I was travelling to a lot of events with him, and I was going to these events and not having a drink. Occasionally, if I'd gone through to my grandparents, I'd have a trip over to the pub, and sometimes I'd have a couple of drinks, but I was cutting that down and never really told anybody about it, so they never really knew. Because a lot of people they'll do this and, oh, I'm gonna give up drinking, and not touch the drink in a week, 2 weeks, or I ain't had a drop in a month, and it's been 2 months, and then 3 months it's like, back on the booze. And and I'm not one of these people that goes spouting all me sort of like outside of music sort of like problems, and not that my drinking was a problem. It was it wasn't like, it wasn't as if I was like grabbing a bottle every day. Pardon. But there is people out there that they'll have an argument with the bloke and they'll put it all over Facebook, and he'll write his side of the story and she'll write her side of the story, and then like 2 weeks later they're back together, and then and then there's like other people that fall out with like God knows who, and then it all gets put up on Facebook, and they aren't doing this and they aren't doing that, and again one side gets put up and then the other side gets put up, and and I just think it's not my thing. There was some ravers that were having an argument the other week, being some little kick off at a rave, and it went on and it went over Facebook for a couple of days, and it was backwards and forwards, and it just turned a bit like unnecessary. It turned a bit nasty. It almost sort of turned out into sort of like a little bit of bullying, and then other people were getting involved. Like you don't talk to our so and so like that, and like who do you think you are, and take the curls out your hair, and I just thought like I knew a lot a good chunk of these people that were arguing, and I just thought, don't comment, Noble, and I don't comment. There's stuff and arguments all the time, and I see things on Facebook where I think, do you know what, I'd love to just come in right now and say, do you know what, I actually think this, but sometimes it's just not always a good thing, is it? So but there we go. So anyway, I'm on the mend. Nice little longish stream, but yeah, I'm on the mend. So make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. The next gig stomping, we've rambled on a bit, but I hadn't been live for a couple of days. I think last time I went live was either Friday or Saturday, and it's now like Tuesday, so there you go. So like, comment, share. Peace.